Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Music of the Week. As always, 6 albums to go through, so let's go through the 6 albums. We begin with Alestorm, Yar are Pirate Noises, with their new album, I think it's called The Thunderfist Chronicles. I've just got down written Thunderfist Chronicles. It's Alestorm, it's Alestorm doing what they usually do. It gets a B+. I think it was, as good as Alestorm usually are. I will say of the albums I've heard by them, it might be my least favourite. It doesn't really veer off from what they do, which is kind of a shame because the album has the word Chronicles in the title. And I sort of wanted them to do a weird balls out pirate concept album, and we know that Chris Bowes can do concept albums. He is also the singer of Gloryhammer, who have done good concept albums. Friends got me to listen to them, they were awesome. But yeah, it's still Alestorm having a lot of fun. I do think the pacing is a bit weird. It's probably my least favourite thing about the album. I didn't really keep that many songs in mind. There's not really a lot of songs. There's 8, and it clocks in at just under 45 and a half minutes, which, isn't bad, but one of those songs is a cover of a Necrogoblicon song, which isn't bad. Necrogoblicon I occasionally fuck with, but, it feels a bit lazy, especially because it's before the last track, which is, a 17-minute stupid, silly banger. But, instrumentation is still fine and fun. It's got some good riffs. It's got some really good instrumentation. Well, that's the entire point. Good guitar work, solid drumming as well. I wish they included more of the weird folky elements, though. And it's kind of a shame because they have a hurdy-gurdy. Well, they don't have a hurdy-gurdy player, but a hurdy-gurdy player is on the last song of the album, which feels like what the rest of the album should have been. I don't know. Bands still have that really good cohesion, though. The lyrics are still the usual Alestorm stuff. It's about pirates. It's quite funny. There's some good dick jokes. It's kind of the thing they've always done. Production's really good as well. Lasse, I hope I'm saying that right, Lasse Lemmertz, he's been the producer for such a long time, and he's still as good as he ever was at bringing out the best in the band sound. A really good mix there. And, yeah, great performances. Decent enough pacing, I just wish it went to more weird places. Good mix. Lyrics and instrumentation are, again, as fun and dumb as Alestorm usually are. I feel like they should maybe consider going more conceptualized, because piracy is ultimately like a fantasy genre. I'm surprised that they're not operating more in that, considering that they do have like an in-universe lore. I just kind of feel like they should go full weirdo ass concept next time. About, as I've written here, zombie pirates stealing treasure that happens to be shaped like a weird sex thing, because it's the kind of thing they do, and it's a weird situation that they haven't done it yet. So maybe do that next time, but also maybe just keep being Alestorm because you're good. They're not watching this. Next, we have a band called Hotline TNT and their new album Raspberry Moon. This is a shoegaze act from NYC. I'm giving this one a B+ as well. I feel like this was actually quite nicely put together. There's a really good lyrical theme, which I think is about just like friendship and love, and like more in a positive way, because usually when you hear that theme, I don't know if it's specific to shoegaze, but it can be, done a bit sadly and dourly, like I just broke up with someone. But no, this is like I'm happy with who I'm with right now. It's nice to have that feeling to it. Instrumentation is really nice as well. It's not just shoegaze. There's mixtures of like alt rock and indie rock and power pop. In fact, this is the band's first time embracing power pop more as a genre, and it leans into good noise pop, and I liked it. I actually think it might be the best thing about the album. It's really good and kind of innovative in some areas. I quite enjoyed it. Production, probably my least favourite facet of the album. It was done by a guy named Amos Pitch, who actually is the singer for a different punk band I can't remember the name of. As always, text edit will go here. But I feel like it feels a bit too wall of soundy, which is on the band's Wikipedia page, on the band's Wikipedia page, it is often something that they attempt to do, but it felt like a bit too much for me, especially early on in the album. It does mellow out near the back half. However, I thought the performances were really good. The band has a really nice chemistry together, and Will Anderson is the frontman and sort of like main brainchild, and it can feel a bit too much like he's taking over at times, but he's a good performer. He's got the charisma to pull this sort of thing off. And really good pacing as well. It does, again, like I mentioned a bit earlier, it takes a while to settle in, especially when you get through the much louder sort of feeling tracks, but it's got a really good last stretch, and I think the unique instrumentation of it actually helps to mix up the style plenty. So, yeah, pretty good in most of its areas. I just wish it were produced less. guess you could say. It feels a bit weirdly overdone for what it is, but good riffs, good performances, solid theme, nice happy album for a shoegaze album too, so can recommend. Next we have James McMurtry with his new album The Wandering Boy and the Black Dog. Now, when I first heard this name I thought this was one of those solo indie auteurs. Turns out it's a country artist in his 60s and this is his 11th album. And I'm giving this one an A+. Holy shit, I really enjoyed this one. There's a really good lyrical theme, which I think was the main thing that brought me back to it. It's a really emotional one because it goes over his relationship with his dad Larry, especially in Larry's later years before he passed away. In fact, Larry passed around the time that James released his last album before this, which came out in 2021. So, yeah, kind of having that much time to work on it, I think really helped out. It does go over more pertinent topics as well, but the main focus is like the things his dad started doing in his last years, and like how he was slowly losing his mind over things, and it feels like uncomfortably human in that aspect, and I respect the shit out of the album for that because it doesn't hold back on how James was feeling and how his dad was feeling, and in fact the album is named that because it was a rant that his dad used to do when he was feeling especially lost. So yeah, really good way to tie that in. Really good performance from James too. I get that there's a backing band, but James himself has a really good voice. He's got this really good drawl to it, and the charisma to pull the style off as well, obviously. But yeah, he comes across as a really earnest and honest storyteller, and that's also through the instrumentation as well. It is really good guitar work, some solid drums and like string arrangements in the background, which I wanted to be a bit more present at points, but I feel like if it were just James with the guitar, it would have been good, but like I'm glad that there's backing instrumentation, like there's good bass and there's really good drumming as well, which I think helped things out quite nicely. Production is really good. It's got this nice organic feel. It was handled by someone named Don Dixon, who I think is working with James for the first time in like 3 decades. I wasn't able to find a lot of info about that, but yeah, it's nice to have them working together again. I say, even though this was my first album by James McMurtry, and it's got really good pacing, which I think benefits from the fact that it feels like it's got a small scope, despite the fact that there's 10 songs at 44 minutes and 17 seconds, but it really benefits from how much it doesn't overreach, and I think it's really, really smartly played. So yeah, pretty great in most of its areas, and actually got me to well up a couple of times. Not full on cry, but yeah, I felt quite a lot through this, because James is expressing his pain in a really human way, and when that happens, it can make some really interesting music, so I recommend it mostly for that. Next up we have Malevolence and their new album Where Only the Truth Is Spoken. This is a good bunch of metalcore lads from bloody Sheffield, one of the best places in the UK to get metalcore from, and give this one an A. I really liked mostly the lyrical theme, I guess, really good theme of like trying to maintain integrity and loyalty as the world continues to go to shit, and yeah, written in a really honest way that balances the darkness out quite nicely. There is stuff about mental health, obviously, but the main theme of keeping their integrity is really good. I like how it's handled. Really good pacing as well. There's a good song flow with some really fucking good breakdowns and some amazing payoffs. I do feel like the last 2 songs don't quite stick the landing, and it maybe they should have. Well, they definitely should have been put up earlier in the album. But the rest of the other 9 songs, really bloody good. I feel like the band are finding their confidence quite nicely as well, especially Alex Taylor, whose vocals have come quite a long way. He's leaning into this more like guttural singing style, but he can absolutely still fucking belt it on the screams. I love how low his gutturals feel on this one. It's really good screamy stuff, and he's got some good highs, but it is a guttural Sweet G6 has a lot of range with too, which I quite like. Really good instrumentation as well, holy shit. Again, I mentioned the breakdowns earlier, really heavy breakdowns. Guitar solos? I wasn't expecting these guys to do guitar solos, but apparently they do really good ones. Can we get more on the next album, please? They were really good here, and really clean production as well. It was handled by Josh Wilbur, who is massively underrated in I just write massively underrated here. I thought I added more to it. Apparently not. Yeah, really good mix on the production as well. Feels organic and loud without over-polishing it. Basically does the job that Hotline TNT's album was trying to do, but doesn't as well. Yeah, okay, sorry, this album does the job better than Hotline TNT's album did with making things loud, but actually, this one makes it easy to understand. But it's absolutely fantastic stuff. Yeah, I feel like they didn't fully lean into their potential on the last album as much as I liked it, and this one completely fucking surprised me. So hopefully they continue to do so whenever they drop the next one, because this was really good. Next up, we have Mugshot with their new album, All the Devils Are Here. Now, initially I did think this was a debut. Turns out no, it is their sophomore effort that came out 9 years after their debut. Yeah, their first album and last album, technically, came out in 2016. Really good beatdown hardcore punk, though I'm giving this one a B+. It is not the smartest album, I will admit, but it's fucking heavy as hell. I like the instrumentation. It's as heavy as you like from beatdown hardcore. Not exactly super nuanced, but it hits hard when it needs to, and it always feels like it needs to, which is good. Performances are all pretty good as well. I don't really fully know who did what, but my standout is drummer Connor Haynes. He does a really good job. And yeah, the band just go in and they show a lot of grit and like passion for this stuff. And yeah, they go fucking hard. The vocalist has a really good low scream to him, which is good shit. He's actually focused entirely on harsh vocals, which I think is what helps the album the most. I couldn't find much in terms of lyrics, but I did quite enjoy them, especially the main theme of dealing with the everyday forces that are typically out of a person's control, hence the album's title. Really good way to tie into the theme, and yeah, nicely realised. It feels a bit like too grunty try hard in terms of its writing at times, but I get the intention. Yeah, and I like the intention. Pacing's really good. I mean, the album is quite short at 25 minutes 40 seconds with 12 songs on it, but it's an album that respects your time and gets to the point, and also just has plenty of headbanging, fucking heavy as hell songs. I'll take more of that. It's really good, and production I quite liked as well. It could feel a bit too clean and places. Produced by Randy LaBeouf, who's really good when it comes to hardcore music production anyway. But you know, the engineering and even the layering in some areas of the album sound is quite good. I wish that the band went in a bit more, and especially considering it was it was almost said 9 years since their last one. I feel like maybe they could have put more time into more of the songs, but you know, it's still good for what it is and for as short as it is, and I can recommend it if you've got time to kill, which you probably will because it's not a really long album. And finally, we have Youngblood with his new album, Idols. Now, I fuck quite heavily with Youngblood. I listened to his last 2 albums. In fact, I've heard 3 of his 4. This being the 3rd of his 4 I've heard. I'm giving this one an A+. I really wanted him to lean more into the rock opera / rock star charisma I know he has, because he showed that off on Weird. Didn't show it off on his self-titled album, but does on this one, which makes sense because it took him like 4 years to get this one made, and I'm so glad he goes full rock opera in most areas. I think that might be my main issue. It might be the pacing. It's really good, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of mixtures of sounds, and it's very clear that like from the 4 years of work he spent working on this album in Leeds, which is closest to where he grew up, he wanted to get in as many facets as he could of his sound and evolve his style. It's really good in that aspect. I wanted it to lean more into the theatrical side though, because when it does that, I think that's when the album's at its best. But I pretty much like everything about the album, and I even do like the pacing. I just wanted it to go a little bit harder, and I think the last third can feel a bit weak. Oh, I feel horrible saying that, because the rest of the album's fucking great. Production is incredible, handled by Matt Schwartz. Wonderfully realised sound fits the album's grandiose nature quite wonderfully. But yeah, it's worth mentioning because of the fact that it took 4 years to get done, and it feels like the hard work really fucking paid off, especially in regards to Youngblood's real name, Dominic Harrison. Absolutely kills it. Leans more into his, again, like I said earlier, his more rockstar persona, and absolutely belts the hell out of this one, mixing in like more punk energies and more indie rock stuff, and like the slower alt rock and more pop elements. It's all the things he's done before, but like working together in the best way, which I think is something he tried to do in his last album that didn't fully flesh out, I think, as he intended it to. But yeah, really good lyrical themes as well. There's a good theme of him deconstructing his famous persona, his identity, and his thoughts on his masculinity. And it's got some really good writing in that regard, and there's really good songs about his like stuff he's written about before, like relationships and love, and his dealings with depression and anxiety and things like that. And it's handled quite well in a really fucking human way, like I said, with James's album. And instrumentation is fantastic too. Really good variety, a lot of bounce to it, and a lot of really good balance. I like the piano, I like the string arrangements, and I like that there's actually new stuff worked in for this one. I say this in my review, It feels like his self-titled, while I did enjoy it, it felt a bit like him putting out an album out of obligation more than anything. This one feels like a deliberately correct choice that he made, and it feels like a very passionate project that he obviously put a lot of care into. So, yeah, I really fucking like this one, man. This might be Youngblood's best album. I still haven't heard his debut, but of the albums I've heard by Youngblood, this might be my favourite. I was quite pleasantly surprised by this, and I highly recommend giving it a spin. Next is favourite album cover and favourite song. Favourite cover goes to All the Devils Are Here by Mugshot. I just really like how it looks. It looks a bit like a really cool coloured manga page, like a horror thing, and I kind of want to use it as like maybe a tie thing for my Wrestler Connor Gates, maybe. I know, it just looks like it would fit. And favourite song goes to Sons of the Second Sons from The Black Dog and the Wandering Boy by James McMurtry. Really good theme, really good song about racism, I guess. Yeah, no, that's kind of what the song's about, and like really mature tackling of the subjects. And yeah, even though most of the songs are about James and his relationship with his dad, it was nice to have a song that was more about an equally pertinent topic. So I like how it was explored, and it was handled with some good maturity. And it's also got a really nice chorus. And as for next week's listening list / reviews, I have Baby Metal with Metal Fourth, Blood Vulture with Die Close, I think it's close, Dury with This Movie Sucks, Hot Milk with Corporation Pop, Janine's with How Long Can It Last, and Planning for Burial with Its Closeness, It's Easy. And that'll be it from me. I'll see you all tomorrow for the return show of PPW vs APW. Oh, we're back. We did the draft last night. It was stupid, but we managed to get everyone in. I'm still waiting for quite a few people, but we're good. For the most part, we're good. That's what matters. And I'll see you all tomorrow for that, and then on Saturday, finally, for more Yakuza Like a Dragon, because it's been way too long. So I'll see you all for those things. As always, excuse my hair. Thank you for watching. You're awesome. Bye-bye.